everyone. Here we are watching footage from our show yesterday. Right off the bat, the one thing I was trying to focus on is whenever I practice my stand-up, there's this weird thing where I try to start with, "Hey, thank you." However, that is sort of a slight negation to the audience. It's like, "Thank you, shut up. Thank you, let me talk. Thank you, you're clapping, but stop clapping." So my goal is to really reward the audience for applauding right up top to try to train them immediately that this is a conversation. This isn't about me talking. Thank you all. Hello, I'm William King. I'm going to talk about cleaning. The audience was a little fatigued at this point. You can sort of, if you compare all of like the woos as people walk in, they were a little spent. So in my mind, I was like, oh, I'll keep them wooing for as long as possible. I'll make sure I reward them for applauding me. And then, ironically, it was a moment where I could have just said my normal, like, thank you. That was so ingrained in me that I am trying in the long term to habitually untrain myself. Thank you. Not these thank yous. These are good thank yous. I'm going to talk about cleaning. We don't do it. So I'm trying to make sure this feels like a conversation right up top. As you can see, audience is a little shy right now. They warm up to me later, but you know, good for the show. There had been like 30 big applause breaks over the course of the show, but it really takes it out of the audience. Once the audience has been like, "Right, yeah," after like 10 of those, the audience is like, I've done enough. These other comedians can be fine. Yeah, thank you for validating that, Colby. So I'm not just like, it's not just me, it's the audience. Like they were you know, we were slightly overclocked comedian wise, so they were slightly audience fatigued. Personally, I love cleaning. Yeah. Eventually. When people are gonna visit, right? I'll be over in 20 minutes. I hope not. I have an hour of cleaning to do. Okay, so thus far I've done a pretty good job. People said yeah, I stopped, I validated them. I could have played with that more, like yeah, and then there was a second yeah. It's like go for 2 yeahs. Do we have 3 yeahs? Do we have 4 yeahs? I should have really gone off script more. But once again, this is super new material. I was not comfortable with it, and because there's a million problems to solve on producing the show, I'm never in my best element. But pretty good job. Honestly, pretty good job despite all that. I walked out of this like hating myself, but watching it back, I don't at all. And I will clean everything that you can see. Because if you're checking underneath my couch, or like putting your finger beneath my lampshade, touching my light, and be like, there's dust there, you're the asshole. Or you're my mom. Because she does. The audio sounds kind of quiet. Let me see if I can bump that up. You're the asshole. Or you're my mom. Because she does. Yeah, so if I had a better button there, I could have probably ping-ponged that laugh a little bit more. I only had those two written, so unfortunately I couldn't pull it out of the hat with there, and because she does that, it's sort of just like a blanket statement. There's no angle on it, so I wouldn't expect them to laugh at something like that. I was hoping and praying, but no. If I wanted to keep that going, I would have had to either written something or improvise better. So you guys know the expression "so clean I can eat off of it"? Yeah. I don't think it applies. And there's a third yeah. If I was really on my improv game, I could have noticed that there was like a yeah over here, a yeah, 2 yeahs over here in a second, and now a big yeah. Like, you guys are the yeahs, or like what I could have commented on the fact, like, I know what you guys are gonna say, yeah, because it was happening in the room. That would have been sort of next level if I could have pulled that one off. But I was too much in my head from other things that were happening, and I was nervous because it's super new material. It's never been performed in front of another living soul, so so much. Like, is there any toilet that's so clean you would eat off of? No. Oh, I missed it. Someone said, "Oh God, no." Oh, I wish I had heard that. That's like 4 no's and complicit 20 yeses. What about it? So that's actually I really like this moment. I forgot that I had done this. So once again, the audience is feeling a little shy. They're feeling a little tired. Some people are participating. Some people are not. the audience can hear that I'm not getting a lot of reaction from them. So by sort of commenting out, by saying like, oh, I hear what you're giving me. Oh, complicit yeses. And then like, oh, I don't want to be complicit yes to toilet eating. Okay, I will give something. So I could pull it out of them. It's not the best when you have to pull it out of them, but you just should be able to if the audience is in the mood. So like, watch. Yeah. That's like 4 no's and complicit 20 yeses. What about a public toilet? Yeah, see, the next reaction to my next ask is much bigger. I have now forced them to be bigger participants. And I'm not talking about a dry cracker on a dry lid. I'm talking about cereal in the bowl. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you see how much louder the audience is as a whole after I sort of bullied them in for being quiet. I did it in a nice way, but we've now like upped our decibel level, and the set feels better. Also, to me on stage. I think that phrase only applies to dishes. So clean I could eat off of it. Because me with my dishes, I scrub them real deep with that dish sponge, right? Yeah. Okay. Yes, we clean. No, we don't. Okay, so I do it again. There is going to be a point where if you do it too much, the audience is like, she's just commenting on us. So I have to watch out. I think I can use it maybe the trick once more, and then it is burned for the whole set. But it does keep them going here. I didn't know what you paused. You didn't know what I paused for here. Let's see. Okay, let's watch it back. No, we don't. One second. Yeah. Scrub them real deep with that dish sponge, right? Yeah. I guess maybe it is unclear. In my mind, I was like, you scrub things with your dish sponge. I'm asking like, you guys scrub with a dish sponge? But you are correct in that it is a little unclear in that, and like, am I referencing the idea of dish sponges? Am I asking? It is true that it wasn't a true ask. Yeah, I could be asking like, is dish sponge what you use? Could be asking, do we scrub? So it is worth clarifying that more. I might have set my own trap that I then had to cleverly get myself out of. So it is a very good point there. Okay. Yes, we clean. No, we don't. I see you. But I clean with that dish sponge, that moldy dish sponge. Would anyone eat off of their dish sponge? Yeah, exactly. And I'm not talking about a dry cracker on a dry sponge. Wet sponge yogurt slipping it out. Oh. Exactly. Ew, William, why would you say that? Well, look, sponge, spoon, yogurt, mouth. I'm just one step away from doing that. Okay, I'm the crazy one. Okay, so if I had talked too soon, if I hadn't been able to wait in that silence, I wouldn't have gotten the trickle of laughing that then validates the joke. If I had waited, it would have seemed more like a failed joke. But if you listen to the audience, we get someone literally going, whoa, as the sort of logic of the statement that I said hit them. I think it's still a little unclear. I could have made it exactly clear the angle that I was taking, but I do like my instincts to like, I let it breathe instead of feeling too ready to jump on the next joke. And then the audience would have been like, oh my God, he really ate shit, so to speak, off of his spoon. So watch. Yogurt mouth, I'm just one step away from doing that. So and now more jokes, it would have seemed like a failed joke. But I'm reacting to them, I'm getting more laughs. Okay, and then recovery line sort of saves the room altogether. So when I clean, I use one product to clean everything. That is Windex multi-purpose. Thank you. I trust it on Windows because it is Windex. And I trust it everywhere else because I am lazy. Yes. I also clean everything with paper towels. Yeah, boo, environment, boo. I get that a lot. I will say, look, I live in New York City. So I jumped on it. So this is a little bit of me like, things that I've prepared that I have canned that are not really reacting in the moment, but they seem enough like I'm reacting in the moment. I jump on that a little bit too soon. Like how I am sort of implying that the audience reacted isn't exactly how they reacted. I'm sort of like shoving words in a straw man's mouth. Watch. And I trusted everywhere else because I'm lazy. Yeah. I also clean everything with paper towels. Yeah. So I got 2 woos and a sort of yeah. And I think I heard 1 small boo, which is why I jumped on it. But also I sort of just like forced the issue because I wanted to say the jokes that I wanted to say. But I should have taken what was happening in the room. And if I only got yeah, it's like, okay, normally I get boos on that. Like I shouldn't have sort of like forced the issue. Paper towels. Yeah. Boo, oh, I got a woo and I heard boo. That's what it was. Boo, environment, boo, boo. I get that a lot. I will say, look, I live in New York City in a teeny apartment. I use public transportation. I have a smaller carbon footprint than 99% of the country. Yeah, also, I live in New York City in a teeny apartment. I can clean the whole thing with 4 paper towels! Thank you. 3 of those napkins. 10 tissues. Or a shirt if it's a countertop. Okay, so tissues didn't land, but shirt landed. I didn't know how many of those I could get. I bet you if I actually spent more time writing my own material, I could have gotten a lot more on that list. Like, 4 tissues. Miss the shirt joke during the during the actual show, or now. Yeah, I guess one of the issues is like I try to be as performative as possible, and then I try to give my aside or extra jokes in like a different sort of kind of like under my breath, like oh no, it is not really important, so that it gives them a different feel and it makes it seem like I really am coming up with it in the moment instead of prepared performance. But I guess there are some casualties with regards to understandability, especially for people in the back of the completely sold out huge crowd. I say both jokingly and really. I got the footage to prove it. So the one place I don't use. Oh, sorry. But back to the joke at hand. Yeah, if I had spent more actual time writing, I'm sure there are like 6 or 7 like 4 paper towels, 1 moldy dish sponge, some sort of callback to something that happened earlier, my shirt if it's the countertop, nothing at all if I'm over here because you guys apparently don't clean. Like if I had really been in my element, I could have. That's a perfect one of those places that you could throw a million callbacks and some improv lines because it is both specific enough and general enough that it's what I should have done. But once again, I'm not 100% in my element right now. Hopefully next show I'll be able to be in the proper mental space. So the one place I don't use a paper towel is the toilet. I use the bleach with the little, the thing so you get the poop that's around the rim, right? Because poop goes down, but it also splashes up. My mom says that fecal matter can fly 6 feet in the air. So it goes down, and then it's like, come on, I am defying gravity. Give you pink eye, I am defying gravity. And I'll splash you in the bowl. Yeah, so I'm glad the song went well. First of all, I promised myself I would actually look up the lyrics, and I never got around to it. I don't know what's I don't know what the thing is before defying gravity. I don't know. I should have looked it up. But yeah, that's one of those moments where if that didn't land, I would have had egg on my face, and I would have had to do the biggest recovery line ever. Because there's no coming back from something that big. High risk, high reward. You get the biggest laughs by actually doing the whole song and dance, literally. But yeah, if that failed, I would have been like, no one likes Wicked. You guys preferred Avenue Q. That's why it won that year. I would have had to do something like that. And tell them I am defying gravity. Okay, if I ever do this set again, because I mostly just do new material these days, and tell them I am defying gravity. Great. Thank you. Finally. So sometimes who I think I am. This next little minute bit did not. I threw it in last minute. I literally wrote it the day before. It did not. The first bit did not make sense. The second 2 rungs did make sense. So I think I might be able to throw it in and change it later. but I shouldn't have included it.
Doesn't match with who I actually am. This is relevant, I promise.
Okay, wait, let me go back.
This is relevant, I promise. So, like a month ago, I was.
So what I was trying to do is get this.
This is relevant, I promise.
Right? So London did that in his set with one-liners. We sort of like came up with it. I mean, you know, it's a general phrase, but we came up with it for Shun's set, and then London did it. I was like, oh, I could slowly get literally every comedian on Laughter Party with this,
This is relevant, I promise.
audio file, and then that would be fun to have like 20 different ones of those. However, I literally pointed at Shun. Sorry, my headphones are dying. I literally pointed at Shun to deliver the joke, thinking if no one else laughs, at least he will. And then I can be like, oh, it's a natural joke. But he didn't. Susie laughed, and then Shun had a delay laugh once he realized why Susie was laughing. Watch this. Watch this.
So sometimes who I think I am doesn't match with who I actually am. This is relevant, I promise. So, like
Susie
a month
laughing?
ago, I was watching.
Shun laughing. Like, oh, that was just for you, man.
This is relevant, I promise.
Oh, but at least now I have the sound clip. I might also clip that Susie laugh just for funsies.
And I was like, yeah, someone tried to break into my house. I used my lightning fast reflexes. I take them down. Later that night, for no reason, I dropped a cup. Oh no, my kombucha! Now I have to clean. I'm not defending shit is the punchline to that. Or
Okay, so the idea I was trying to get across is that, like, I imagine myself with lightning fast reflexes, also, you know, in that same span of time, a cup slipped out of my hands. Probably should, I said I dropped a cup, so the way that I said it, it seemed like I had agency, like I decided to drop a cup. So the idea that I was trying to incept was not clear. It was not clear at all. I think if I said, you know, later that night, a cup slipped out of my hands, couldn't catch it. It's too fast for me. I'm not, and then I like the I'm not defending shit as an emergency button. I had not written that. It's a decent emergency button if whatever I come up with next time doesn't fit the bill. Oh, you were wrong about the lyrics? What are the actual lyrics? So confident. I thought there's different. It's time to try defying gravity. Got you. Yep. Okay. Is that every time or just because I thought there was different lead-ins to defying gravity during different parts of the song, but I could be wrong. Anywho, there was a ring of this joke. The second ring of this joke was gonna be, sometimes I think I'm such a good communicator, I can put whatever idea I want in people's heads, but then other times my friends are like, what's wrong? And I go, no. But I took it out. I thought it was too big and I might not land, and I was just doing defying gravity, so I didn't want two egg moments in a row. So instead, I did this as the second ring, because this is very true, and it happened that day. That day it was raining, so I was like, oh, this would be an interesting one to throw in there.
For example, today I was like, I'm gonna work out for 2 hours. I feel so inspired. I look, yeah. We work out. Anyone else? You run. I know. Okay, anyone else? You vomit in a piss-filled toilet. That's a workout. Yeah.
So I needed to be doing more of that. If I would, that's 10 seconds of me in my element. My whole stand-up set should have been like that, but I was too nervous. I think next time I might do old material so I can really, really lean into true new Williams style. It doesn't matter what my jokes are at this point, because I'm using the audience. I'm using moments that already worked from that show. And so the audience knows it's real. I'm also going off of something the audience said. So it feels conversational. I'm reacting to something you did, so the audience feels like they have a voice. They can laugh. And I'm saying, oh, you don't like that? Well, let me prove that you are wrong by using other things that we saw tonight. Once again, the audience is a little bit on the quieter, lazy, tired side at this point. But you can use their complicit silence as like, oh, that silence after this question I asked equals this. And so the audience is like, okay, I get how he got that from our silence.
Okay, anyone else? You vomited.
Yeah, okay.
I was like, I'm gonna work out for 2 hours. I feel so inspired. I look, yeah. We work out. Anyone else? You run.
Anyone else? And I sort of I actually kind of didn't give them time to answer.
Fired. I look. Yeah. We work out. Anyone else? You run. I know. Okay. Anyone else? You vomit in a piss-filled toilet. That's a workout. Yeah.
So, the one person, we looked at a picture of him running during one of our other games, which is why I tried to use the audience in the audience game so that all the comedians have fuel to throw on their sets so that they can do moments like that. So I knew that guy ran because we made fun of his Instagram earlier of him running. The guy that I just said, you vomit in a piss-filled toilet, he told a story about him traveling and vomiting in a piss-filled toilet. Say that 10 times fast. Also, now thinking back, when I talk about eating from the toilet, that's another moment I could have referenced that exact same thing. Probably would have been the better one because it more directly correlates. If a really good comic, this is why I hate when comics do a show and they don't see the other comics that performed that night. They just they arrive late, they do their set, and they leave. They don't know what else happened. They don't know what is in the audience's working show memory. They can't reference other moments like that. And there can be mistakes that happen. I once watched this I was in this indie comedy show, I should say, and a bunch of comics were just coming in, doing their set, and leaving. Literally 3 different comics asked the same couple in the front, "So, where are you from?" And 3 times they had to be the first one, Minneapolis, it's fine. The second one, they were like, Minneapolis. And the rest of the audience was like, yeah, is this comedian dumb? Someone already asked it that before. Then the third comedian, who didn't see the first 2, asked, hey, where are you guys from? And they're like, Minneapolis. And then they get a laugh from the crowd, because the crowd knows why it's funny. And then the comedian's like, well, why is Minneapolis so funny? And now the comedian has egg on their face. They're trying to figure out what's funny, and they're trying to joke that the audience laughed at that. But the audience is all on the same page. They were the weird one out. And so it's my pet peeve for any time a comedian doesn't see the whole show that precedes them on the night. Because you can't do moments like this where you're calling things back.
When I looked outside, it was raining, and I was like, I don't have the mental energy to be wet today. And it didn't work out.
Okay, very important, very subtle, very important we just did. So I started to get an applause break and I was mid-talking, but luckily I clocked it, I stopped talking, and I made sure to point and reward them for clapping to enable them from clapping, and then the applause break continued more. Yeah, because it was raining that day, I think a lot of people, it felt really, really true, and other people sympathized with that from that day. I was worried that we'd have more people bailing because of the rain, to be honest. Usually rain days are the worst even for Batsu. We'll have whole parties of 8 VIP seats bail in the rain. It's like, what? You guys paid $500 to see a show? You're just gonna skip because of the rain?
I have the mental energy to be wet today. And it didn't work out.
Okay, so I was in the middle of a sentence and the laugh starts, and I think I still finished my sentence.
Why this is all relevant? During my day,
Yeah, but this applause break would have gotten swallowed up if I had kept talking, and the audience would have been less likely to continue laughing after that moment if I had swallowed that applause break. So it's very important that I stop talking and that I reward that person for clapping for me.
And it didn't work out. Why this is all relevant? During my day, I'm a data analyst. Hundreds of thousands of media dollars are bought on my suggestion. They go, oh, William, you seem really professional and smart. Then I come here, I'm like, you guys ever heard of poop? Consider it! Gravity! Poop, poop, fart, fart! Please do not tell them.
Yeah, so the reason I do those smaller and under my breath is so that it really feels real. It's not. Sometimes it is, and it's up to you to guess when it is and when it isn't, when it's planned and when it's not. But it feels more real, and so you can with that aside, because I've changed the nature. If I did all my asides with the exact energy I did all my stand-up, then the audience would be like, oh, that's definitely written. It would feel more fake, and it would be less likely to get a laugh. My style has its benefits.
So one last thing tonight. Sometimes I'll watch a horror movie, and it's like, thank God, this is all made up. But that makes it absolutely terrifying. But sometimes I'll watch a documentary, and it's like, this isn't made up at all. And that makes it Absolutely terrifying!
What I should have done is I should have referenced like this documentary, terrifying, this documentary, terrifying, Super Size Me, my fries, terrifying, this documentary, terrifying. There's an opportunity now watching it back. Once again, I wrote this bit. I had some friends that were coming, and one of them is a documentary maker, and I was like, oh, let me reward some of my friends for coming. I've had a tradition of every time they come, I'll do like a 2 to 3 minute bit about them or something that because they're my friends, we've hung out, something that we've talked about, just to be like, hey, please come see more shows. Hey, bring your friends, and they'll want to hang out, and they'll want me to do stand-up about these things that I talk about. So that's why I did this. I guess it's 2.5 minutes. That's longer than I thought. That was only a minute and a half bit. But they didn't show up. They bailed, maybe because of the rain. Anyways, so I was a little bit on the train tracks of trying to get to the part that would be relevant to them, but I missed an opportunity here, which with my intro could have very easily gone like a tagline about which documentaries are terrifying, and done obvious ones about like all the terrible cults and stuff that they have documentaries on, and then done a weird one like and then Super Size Me, McDonald's exists or whatever as a third heightened one.
I'm not going to talk about one of those. One of my friends who's supposed to be sitting right there, but she bailed tonight. Boo! You'll watch this after the fact. Boo! So she makes.
So if I was really on my improv brain and I was really in the moment, when did we boo before? We booed before at paper towels. So I could have been boo, boo. She's probably in her house cleaning with paper towels, boo, boo. And then that would have been like really next level stand-up. But I was going a little bit too fast, and I was a little bit too worried about getting this material because, it's new material. If this was a set that I've been doing for 2-3 years, it would have been much easier to jump out of it at those improv moments, jump back in it.
Documentaries. And one of the ones that she made is about the guy who invented stuffed crust pizza. Woo! Woo!
Someone said boo. I thought they said woo. So now reverse situation from earlier.
Is he 2,000 years old? I thought that was ancient technology. It's newer than cell phones.
Well, once again, a small acknowledgement and a head nod causes this laugh to go longer than it should have.
It's newer than cell phones.
Have applause break. Nod.
You could do this. Beep, boop, boop, boop. I'd like to talk to Australia on the go, please. Before you could do this. Crust. That does look appetizing. Yeah, I'm in New York. I'm going to get beat up.
So I couldn't think of a good, you could do this. I like the Australian one. Before you could do, and then something that highlights what you can do with stuffed crust pizza. I don't like, that crust does look appetizing. I think it's good enough. It's a good placeholder. I know there's a better one out there, so I sort of like had that emergency button of like, I'm in New York, I'm gonna get beat up. But I even think that the audience was a little confused about. They're like, oh, what? And I could have been like, because New Yorkers love pizza, apparently not you guys. And I might have needed to double button it as a safety net. But I thought one, I like the beep boop boop because it was the phone. You like the phone, the classic phone noises?
Yeah, I'm in New York. I'm gonna get beat up. So as the story.
It was sufficient. I could do better. And I will do better. But I don't know if I'm gonna do the set again because I always do new material. Got to churn out the content farm.
According to this guy, he invented stuffed crust pizza, and he went to Pizza Hut and he's like, "Hey, you guys want my pizza technology?"
I did not expect that to get a laugh at all. Instinct kicked in, and I luckily gave it a pause, but was not expecting any laugh there. It was pizza technology. There was a version of this when I went down through the ages of pizza. I've only performed this once. It'd probably only be performed once, but at least in the iterations of writing, I've written whole bits that didn't make it to the sort of the end result. And one of those bits was 1974 was the first time a computer was ordered by a pizza. Beep boop beep boop boop. Oh yeah, so the pizza technology is in there as a remnant because originally when I thought that was ancient technology. It's newer than a cell phone. But there's been lots of 1974 was the he gave that joke a pause, a pause, a pause. A pause, a pause, a pause. A pause, a pause. Am I missing the joke here? He gave that joke a pause, a pause, a pause. Lady, haha. Oh, he gave that joke a pause, a pause, a pause, pause. Okay, is that what we're doing? Why we just randomly? Are you sure those are the lyrics? Because you weren't so sure about defying gravity. There was a version of the set, and by version of this, I mean I wrote this all in the 3 days before the show. But there was a version where it's like there's a lot of pizza technology in the day. 1974 was the first time a pizza was ordered by a computer, and I don't mean a computer like beep boop bop boop 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 give me pizza, but like oh click clack clap clap send me a pizza. And then 1991 was the first voice activated pizza robot, whatever that means, or in an alternate version of that. First voice activated pizza robot, which then was like send me a pizza, and then I get to the stuffed crust pizza. But that went out. Pizza technology stayed in, and pizza technology made it. You guys, hey, you guys.
I think I just love attention. I think I just love attention. I think I just love attention.
Yeah.
Said no. They didn't want it, but guess who came out with it 3 months later? Pizza Hut! Those monsters! And they did a national ad campaign starring a celebrity spokesperson in 1995, and this guy had to watch his invention just go out over the nation. Hey, William, who was the celebrity spokesperson? I hate to say this, but it was actually, and this is true, you can look this up, it was Donald Trump. Who was that, William? Yeah, it was Donald Trump who introduced the world to stuffed crust pizza. Yeah.
He eats his pizza on 4 night.
Yeah, exactly. Apparently from the crust first. So other things.
Yeah, so apparently from the crust first, not that funny of a line, but any reaction to an audience interruption, anything that makes it okay, gets a laugh. So once again, it's good that it feels like a dialogue and that I'm not negating their dialogue. Free laugh. I didn't have to be that clever, and I got a free laugh. Yes, give me that free laugh. Love it. Love it. Free laugh. I could have just blazed past that, and then the audience would have been uncomfortable. That person would have felt negated. Instead, I get a free laugh. Why wouldn't you take a free laugh instead of making the audience feel weird?
He eats his pizza on 4 night.
Yeah, exactly. Apparently from the crust first. So other things he's ruined: red hats, America, and Southern pizza.
So I probably should have ended there. I was also worried because, like, look, I'm going to post stuff on social media, and I've been getting a lot of randos following Laughter Party and me recently, and then sometimes I'm curious, and I'm like, who is this person? And then it'll be like, some people are, like, very staunch, very apparent Republicans, just from, like, literally just looking at their Instagram name, and you're like, ugh, if I post this on our Instagram, we're going to lose some followers, even though it has nothing to do other than the dig I did at the end. I was also worried, like, do I do the dig at the end, even if I bring him up? It seems like I have to. It's like to just bring him up and not talk about it seems, I don't know. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this clip as far as a clip of things to do, but the ending did turn out well. And then the final joke was meh. I thought it was cute. I like it, but it really is only stupid wordplay. There's no truth in it. The audience will be like, what? What exactly do you mean?
And to hopefully make this palatable, I'll just say, at least the crust wasn't the only thing stuffed full of cheese that night. Yay! We all know how it ends. Sincere gravity. Thank you. I've been
Okay, pause that. Okay, so overall, I will give this set sort of what I normally do for myself. I feel like it's probably like B- writing. It's essentially like a first or second draft still. If I really wanted to make these work, I could dig down deep, but I'm like, meh, it's good enough. So B- writing. Honestly, despite the fact that when I walked off stage, I was absolutely hating myself, and I was like, that was terrible. I fudging bombed. I did a lot of good things. And I'm starting, even in what I appreciate is when I was practicing, I was like, oh, I'm getting nervous in my practicing, and I'm falling on all these bad habits that I want to untrain myself. But even being nervous on stage, even with like 1,000 things going wrong that night, I still pulled out some of the new habits that I want to reinforce because I had very specific intention. So I do think that overall, B- writing, A- performance. There's that good 10-second section where I was really in my element. If I could extend that, and if I could just get, I'm not expecting to be able to get a whole, considering defying gravity. I don't expect to get a 5 to 10 minute set completely Williams style. I don't even know that that's achievable. I don't know if it's like attainable to stay on the audience and with it and improvise. I'm gonna try next time with an older set, so I feel more comfortable. But I got a taste of it, and as long as I get at least one taste of it every time, I do feel like over the course of the next year my sets are gonna be absolutely bomb diggity killer. But we will see. Overall, I give it one giant.
This is relevant, I promise.
Yeah, and now I will have my own clip to add on to that. Let me just one more time watch that 10 seconds of good moments so I can feel good about myself. I think it was at 4:50. I think I remember exactly the timestamp.
I was like, I'm gonna work out for 2 hours. I feel so inspired. I look, yeah. We work out. Anyone else? You run. I know. Okay, anyone else? You vomit in a piss-filled toilet. That's a workout. Yeah. But I looked out.
Okay, and I'm just gonna say one more thing about this moment. The reason it works is, everyone is the star of their own story, of their own movie, and hang on, let me do this. Even though it's gonna change. Okay. Everyone is the star of their own movie, and yeah, comedians like to think that we are the star of the night because we're on the stage. But every audience member is playing a game of the movie of my life is in the audience of a comedy show tonight, and I am still the star even though I'm in the audience. So by calling people out and making this moment about them, we get a big laugh from them. We get a laugh from their friends who want to enjoy this moment with their friend because they are all the star and that is one of their co-stars in their show. It's one of the reasons I try to do audience games that focus on the audience in our show, both to give us moments and things to pull from that we can do that, and because the audience is much more likely to like the show if they were also the star in it. I might show some of the footage from Sex With Me this time because it worked perfectly. The audience was absolutely killing it. There were a lot of great jokes from the audience that got applause breaks, and I'm sure they will remember the moment that they came to a comedy show and they did a joke that got that absolutely tore the house down. Versus like maybe they see 3 other comedy shows, they like it, but they weren't the star in that show. It won't feel as good. So that at least is in my mind why I designed Laughter Party the way that I did. Hey everyone, if you made it this far, consider giving this video a like or a comment. You can subscribe to this YouTube channel for more stand-up analysis, lessons, and writing, or you can join us live on Twitch every week and help us write our comedy. Check us out. Okay, bye.